Hi, and thanks for listening to Gossip with Celebrity, brought to you by Celebrity.com. This week we talk about politics and the royals. Our user feedback is about Republican hair, and we end with our weekly feature, The Comments of the Week. The stories and photos we talk about can be found at Celebrity.com/podcast under episode 69. Hi, I'm Katie, the founder and editor of Celebrity.com, and I write as Celebrity.
And I'm Chandra. I'm the head writer for Celebrity, and I write as Kaiser.
So today is our 69th episode.
Nice.
Yes, I wanted you to say that. I did not tell you. I did not write it in our document. It's so dumb, but I love it. Thank you. You delivered.
I have that sense of humor, though. I'm like, yeah, nice.
I've seen you tweet nice for stuff. I've done it, too. Oh, my God. All right. I don't even know what to say. I wrote on our document that, I got a haircut this week because that's like a big thing for me. It's my second quarantine haircut. And it was Monday, and my hairdresser was like, have a good weekend. I'm like, dude, it's Monday.
Well, because on Monday I was like, oh my God, this day is never ending. How are we even going to get through this week? Honestly, I thought the week would be a lot worse.
I don't know if it was Monday, it was this week or last week when you posted the picture of Katy Perry on the stairs that you post periodically.
That was Monday.
Oh, okay. That's when I responded about the hairdresser thing. Yeah, I couldn't remember. Yeah. Everything runs together.
I mean, like every week now is just, a year long, but I was expecting the week to be a lot more bonkers. It's just been steadily bonkers, and it's fine.
A year's worth of shit happens every week, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's just an election year now. Like, that's just what happens. Remember how fucking bonkers 2016 was? Like, so much shit happened that year.
Yeah, but it was like a level 1 or 2 bonkers compared to the 10 we're on now. I don't even know if that captures it because...
Yeah, but like, for the vice presidential debate, they were making this big deal about how it was the 4-year anniversary of the Trump tape, the grab 'em by the pussy tape. And I was like, holy shit, it's been 4 years since that tape. Like, remember how fucking crazy that weekend was?
Remember when Howard Dean screamed really loud and then his campaign was over and everyone made fun of him for being excited about winning different states?
No, I thought he was excited because he lost. Like, he lost that
We're
race.
going to go here, we're going to go there. I don't know exactly, but like, he didn't even swear. Like, he didn't even say a swear word. And then his campaign was over and Trump's bragging about sexually assaulting women. And everyone's like, oh, well, locker room talk, haha. Let's let this misogynistic, abusive rapist run our country. Yay.
Yeah, well, I mean, Republicans were like that. The rest of us were horrified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I remember that tape and thinking, well, there's no coming back from this. This is so epically horrible. How naive were we?
Yeah. And it wasn't just audio, it was video of him saying it too. So they have no excuse. Yeah, anyway, I don't want to... So much crazy shit happened just this week, so I guess we should get into it. Ooh, you want to switch it up and talk about politics first instead of royals?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So what I do, I'll just tell some of the logistics. I write this document mostly on Wednesday afternoon. So I have an outline before the Zoom meeting, and I can sort of talk in the Zoom so we can get some quotes from the Zoom. But then I'm revising so much Thursday because so much happens in a day. It's just insane. Like, oh my God. So Trump got COVID. We talked about that last week.
Uh-huh. It still makes me laugh that he got it.
He's obviously very sick. He was moved to Walter Reed on Friday. He insisted on taking a ride around the hospital Sunday in a hermetically sealed car with a bunch of fucking people in it to wave at his Nazi supporters. And then on Monday, he walked up the stairs of the White House. No one ever uses those stairs. He ripped off his mask and he was gasping for breath and breathing all over the poor people who have to work with him.
Yeah, he ripped off his mask on the balcony and like he looked so pathetic up there. He was trying to look like strong and a leader. I actually understand the instinct that a president would want to look strong in that moment. I get the politics of it. I get the image craft of it.
Okay.
But I just think it was such a failure on his specific part of like being so orange and so gross and like gasping for air. No wonder the Dow was dropping so fast because he didn't look strong. He looked pathetic.
So you called it an Eva Peron moment, and you were changing the words to "Don't Cry for Me, Argentina." And great minds, the Lincoln Project had a video where they remixed the words to "Don't Cry for Me, Argentina." I'll link that in this post. 69. And
nice. Well, it was a very Evita Peron moment of standing on the balcony and like, well, I love that musical. I mean, she's dying. And like, so that, yeah, I mean, she is. She's saying that, you know, she knows she's dying. She knows she's sick, but don't cry for me, Argentina.
Yeah.
That's why it made so much sense for Trump and the Trump Vita, Co-Vita.
Co-Vita was trending, yeah.
Don Vita.
Don Vita. So many people got COVID among his minions and hangers-on, including Kellyanne Conway. We know about that because of her daughter. We probably wouldn't have known about that otherwise. Stephen Miller, Chris Christie, how do you say her name? Kayleigh McEnany, whatever.
I have no
Nazi
idea
Barbie.
how to pronounce it. Just, yeah, Nazi Barbie, Kayleigh.
Yeah. 34 people as of our recording have tested positive. It's maybe more. And those are just the ones we know about. And a lot of those, I was watching MSNBC, and they were saying that a lot of them we just know through reporting, and Trump's people never would have voluntarily given that information.
Right. And I don't think that the 34 people includes family members of the infected people, right?
Yeah, it was a super spreader event.
Right.
Like, we've been talking about this stupid wedding in Maine. This is worse. This is a super spreader event. There was a small window of time where he could have shown a little bit of humanity like Bojo did and thanked his caregivers, or talked about the people who've lost loved ones and had some sympathy. But of course he didn't do that. He said, don't be afraid of COVID. Don't let it dominate your life. He called it a blessing. I mean, maybe it will be, and we'll see. You know what I'm saying?
No, like someone spelled it out in a really brilliant way. It was like, he thinks that when someone is sick, it's their fault. Yeah. So when he's saying don't let it dominate your life, he's saying that if you get sick and die from coronavirus, it's your fault. A
lot of people think that way, and it's despicable. And we don't know when he first tested positive because his people won't say. They're not answering questions about it. And they didn't tell the Biden team, of course not, even though he was at the debates. I mean, it's just insane.
Right. They're not doing any kind of contact tracing. No one will give a straight answer about when he last tested negative before he tested positive. And a lot of people think that's because they just weren't testing him anymore, that he got tired of being tested. And so they just started testing everyone around him.
Oh, and then they went back to him.
Yeah.
So we talked about this on Zoom, and we have a nurse. Karen is a nurse, and Sara knows about steroids. And so they talked about this in our meeting.
The medication he's on, they don't give it to someone who has mild symptoms.
Looking at Trump's tweets, it was the Twitter version of definitely steroids. And like based off of people I know who have them, the steroid rage some people get, it's just a completely different person. So good luck to whoever's trying to manage that narcissistic maniac full of steroids.
I was telling my neighbor, on top of that, he's a senior citizen. He's morbidly obese. He probably does not sleep. And when they were talking about his x-rays were as expected, I said, oh, he has pneumonia. He's got to have COVID-related pneumonia. Of course, if you believe the rumors, he's on Adderall. And I do believe he's had a couple of mini strokes. So that just makes him a high-risk patient. And so I don't know if you all saw the Twitter timeline of Herman Cain, where he was like, oh, I'm getting better, get better. Then he died. And so the Dex can give you that false sense of, I feel great. I kept telling my sister, I said, he's very sick. He's very sick.
So yeah, he was steroid tweeting. You feel invincible on steroids, and you talk more, you write more.
I think he's just high as hell. I mean, I think it's the steroids for sure, but like they were talking about like all the drug cocktails and like how crazy it makes you. And,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, that too.
I think it's just like everything that they're giving him, it's making him Trump to the next level. Like the extra crazy, extra bonkers, and it's not good. It's not good for our country. It's not good for him.
No, it's not. So Trump is clearly incompetent, but what's the saying? We've been new.
Yeah, we've been new. Yeah.
And people say Kamala should have asked Pence about his boss not being able to run the country. I mean, she said it in other words, but not about a transition plan.
Right. I think it would have been fine if she had asked that. I don't think it's solely her responsibility to ask that because it's crazy how little conversation there is about the 25th Amendment. Journalists should be asking Trump that every day. They should be asking Pence that every day. They should be asking the press secretary every day. Have there been any discussions of the 25th Amendment? Has the cabinet met at all? You know, is there paperwork just in case Trump needs to sign it? You know, that kind of thing. And there hasn't been
because
any of that.
He got impeached, but they couldn't follow through on it because he's got the Senate. And I think people know it's impossible to kick him out right now. And hopefully the election will make that possible.
Well, I mean, it's not even about that.
No,
like,
I know.
Like the 25th Amendment, he could just sign the paper and temporarily give Pence power. And then, you know, after a week or so, if he genuinely feels better, Trump could take power back.
He's not going to sign. Yeah, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, like that's just a constitutional thing. I mean, it's not even like it doesn't have anything to do with impeachment.
No, I know. I'm just saying that we need more people on the side of good versus evil, and there's not enough right now in power.
Yeah. If Mitch McConnell like went to the microphones and said, actually, the 25th Amendment should be invoked, I think that there would be a bigger discussion. But Mitch McConnell, of course, is not going to say that.
No. So,
so the VP debate was insane as well. Pence had pink eye.
Yeah.
He was the mansplainer. He kept interrupting the moderator and Kamala.
And he had a fly land on his head for 2 minutes. And it just sat there and it made him look like he was dead already. He was like this reanimated corpse trying to talk. It was awesome.
Well, he already looked bad, right? He already looked sick.
Yeah, he does look very sick. And supposedly he tested negative. I don't believe anything they say. But I loved your title. You brought the story to the debate. I read it in the morning. I was like, wow, that is genius. And the title is, Under His Pink Eye, Kamala Harris wins debate against fly-covered misogynist. That was just awesome.
I wanted to get the pink eye and the fly in there in the headline.
Very, very good. Oh. I love her. Sorry, go ahead.
When he was talking about being pro-life or anti-choice, really, and the Amy Coney Barrett, I was just like, oh, God, this really is just The Handmaid's Tale. This is how it starts. You were talking about Kamala being...
She just laughing. I was like, I want to learn how to be like her. I'm going to study her and try to get more of that attitude to life and to my enemies, you know, where I'm just like, oh, Jesus, you're ridiculous. And you can just see it on her face, and I love it. And she's a joy to watch and to hear speak. She's just, I would love her to be president. I don't want anything to happen to Biden, but I'm just saying.
The one thing that I do believe is that both Trump and Pence had an agenda of trying to disrupt Biden and Harris during the debate. There were times when I felt like Kamala was building up to be a prosecutor, to really make a prosecutorial case against the Trump-Pence administration, and he would just interrupt her. He would break her focus, and it bothered me so much. But Trump, that was a whole other thing.
That's their coach is doing that for them, I think, teaching them how to do that.
Yeah.
They haven't passed a stimulus package. The Republicans are blocking it. And they're trying to push a Supreme Court nominee through.
The Republicans are fine with people losing their jobs by the millions, and they're fine with all of that because they're going to push through this handmaiden to be their Supreme Court justice. So, it's all fine.
So we're not going to be able to get birth control for our painful periods. And it's already so hard to get an abortion in this country, in most states, especially if you don't have money and you can't drive farther away. And most abortions are just prescription abortions. It's even hard to get those. But so here's a segment from Zoom where we talked about this. And this is Karen and Amira.
The whole thing looks bad about they don't want to talk about another stimulus package, but they have time to push through this Supreme Court nomination. It's just a bad look. And, majority of Americans are saying that this can wait till after the election. So they clearly don't care what everybody thinks. This is just a power grab.
I think it's a scorched earth method. They know they're losing and they're just going to go balls to the wall and they don't care about the American people.
I hope Amira's right. I hope that they're losing, and I hope that they don't push this nominee through either. It looks good for us, but who knows, anything could change.
Yeah, I mean, I wish that, I don't know if you'll let me say this, but I wish coronavirus would just rip through the Republican Senate caucus.
I think it has.
I wish that all those old men would get deathly ill.
We're not wishing death on them, but we're wishing deathly illness on them.
I don't want them to die. I just want them to be very, very sick. Same with Trump. The coronavirus, a lot of people, I feel so sorry for them. Regular, everyday people who are just trying to do their jobs and live and work. I feel so sorry for them. But I also have to kind of admire that the coronavirus has a sense of karma. It really goes after people who try to say that it doesn't exist or that it's all a hoax or whatever.
Well, science also is at play, considering that these are the same fucking people who aren't wearing masks and are hanging out and hugging up on each other. I agree with you about karma. I'm believing more in that sort of thing. But at the same time, these are the assholes who don't think that logic and science apply to them or to anybody else. And they're spreading that horrible misinformation, and it's putting a lot of people at risk.
It just reminds me of the VP debate. Mike Pence said something that we'll believe in the science or we'll follow the science. And the look on Kamala's face was amazing.
All right, let's talk about the royals. This was batshit this week because this book, Battle of Brothers, William and Harry, The Inside Story of a Family in Tumult by Robert Lacey. We thought it was going to be the Cambridge's answer to Finding Freedom, but it's a lot of dirt on the Cambridges, a lot. And it's not very flattering to the Sussexes either, but we learn more about the Cambridges. This is just a guy who wants to make some money off selling this biography.
Well, I think that Lacey kind of probably sold the book as that it would be the untold story about why Harry and Meghan left. Okay. And those were the sexy excerpts that first came out. It was all about Harry and Meghan. And then all the other stuff started coming out, and all of a sudden the book wasn't as important anymore. It was all about William and how he's crazy.
He's always angry.
Yeah.
They also had a lot about the petty grievances that the royals had against Meghan and how they were threatened by her.
I think that some of the royals had some grievances. I'm not saying they were legitimate, but I'm saying the Queen cared about some of that stuff. Charles cared about some of that stuff. But the way they made it sound is like the Queen had a laundry list of things that she absolutely hated about Meghan. I don't think that's the case.
Oh, you think it was exaggerated to make a good story, which, I'm sure it was.
Well, I think maybe the courtiers, they had a problem with it.
Yeah.
Not the Queen.
She was disrupting their easy lifestyle.
Right.
So we heard that the Queen and Prince William were super mad that Meghan and Harry kept the details about Archie's birth private, where we didn't know exactly when she gave birth. She didn't announce it right at the time. And they never revealed the godparents. And this is this huge faux pas in the royal family. There's so much about this. I was like, my gosh.
I think that was something that William was upset about. That wasn't the Queen or Charles. That was something William wanted to use, or I don't know why he was so upset about it, but it felt like Lacey was saying William was the one who was really mad about them not revealing the godparents.
It's like a succession thing or something where...
It's not even. It's just, it's made up protocol that they are just using to attack Meghan and Harry. Nobody but William and the British media gives a shit about the godparents.
So when the Queen did that 2019 Christmas message, she didn't have any photos of Harry and Meghan on the desk. And she didn't mention Archie by name. She just said she had her 8th grandchild, that she and Prince Philip had their 8th grandchild. And that was perceived at the time as a big snub. And Lacey in this book says it was.
I think it was.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I think that there were 2 sort of photo ops that were organized within a week of each other, and they were very consciously pushing Harry out.
Yeah.
There's no Harry, Meghan, or Archie photo on her desk for the Christmas message, and then the organized photo op with Charles, William, George, and the Queen, the line of succession. Lacey said that was Charles's idea. I'm not 100% sure about that, but sure, maybe.
And that William was excited about it. He was like,
yeah, William really was all gung-ho for like putting himself and his son forward as, this is the line. These are the only royals that really matter.
Whew. There's so many good details in this book. It's crazy. It did confirm some of the stories in Finding Freedom, namely that William told Harry to go slow with Meghan, and that really pissed off Harry because, you know, he knows his own mind, and they were kind of condescending to him about it. But we also heard that William asked their uncle, Diana's brother, Earl Spencer, to talk to Harry and tell him to go slower with Meghan. Like, how lame is that to be like asking your uncle to tell your brother that they don't like his relationship?
Yeah, and like Charles, the Earl Spencer, is not like some paragon of traditional family values. I think he's on his 3rd marriage. He's got, you know, a dozen kids.
A dozen.
He has a lot of kids. He really does. And I honestly don't think that the Earl Spencer is particularly close to Harry and William.
So that was even weirder for William to do
right.
that.
So it's like, here's this uncle that you barely see, and he's going to give you love advice. And by the way, he's on his 3rd marriage. But like the point was that William was trying to stage manage and control Harry. That's like the message of it.
In his life as he did, yeah.
And Harry was at the time 32, 33 years old. And to be like, well, you can't get married to this girl.
Yeah.
I mean, how condescending, how patronizing.
It was. And then once he married her, they didn't like anything. I mean, a lot of things she did rankled them, particularly the British Vogue cover she did with all the activists on it, because that was seen as too political.
Oh, they were all mad about that.
There were several different excerpts about that, yeah.
They were all mad about it. The Queen was mad, William was mad, Charles was mad.
What did they want her to do? Like pose, and what did Kate do? She wore riding clothes and she posed on a lawn.
And like everything looked so dead behind her, and the photos weren't even that great. Yeah, it was just a real weird, like, I'm going to cosplay a country girl, you know?
Yeah, that's her thing, is that she's good at cosplaying, or she thinks she is, but it's too on the nose. So what was Meghan supposed to do? You know, I don't think she could have done anything.
They argued that by making such a big deal about not posing for the cover, that she was trying to say something about Kate. I think that if she had posed for the cover, they would have attacked her mercilessly.
Yeah, they would have. And she's attention seeking. She's an actress. You know, look at that face she's making. Like, she can't even wear a little piece of jewelry or smile without them telling her she's wrong.
And I also think that the actual subjects that she chose for her forces of change, they were just, quote unquote, too woke, too liberal. And the royal family is super conservative in every sense, politically especially.
Yeah.
And they just didn't like the idea that, oh my God, transgender people might have rights, or black people might have rights. Or...
Yeah. The good dirt we got was more around Kate and William's early relationship.
I enjoyed the hell out of those excerpts.
It wasn't news to you, and it technically wasn't news to me, but I didn't realize the extent that Kate went to make sure she was around William at every turn. And
right.
She was accepted to Edinburgh College, where she was going to go with some of her girlfriends from school. And then she heard that Prince William was going to St. Andrews, so she was like, oh, I'm going to St. Andrews too. She heard Prince William was taking a gap year. She also took a gap year. She heard he was taking art history, so she also took art history. I mean, it's like, get your own personality and your own goals in life.
The posh British people always take gap years. So, like, she was always going to take the gap year. Okay. She just started following him around. She tried to find out what he was doing for his gap year, and she would follow him around. And she would do the same programs, trying to meet up with him or catch him. And what is crazy is that no royal historian, not even Katie Nicholl, has been able to figure out when they first met. We only found out years after they got married that actually Kate probably did meet William when she was at Marlborough and he was at Eton.
So what is she going to do if it doesn't work? Like, she doesn't have her own interests. She didn't have her own job. Her whole young adult life was just trying to land a prince. And she was successful in that. But what was she going to do? Just settle for some duke or secondary? Yeah, she would have married some other rich guy like her sister did. And she probably would have had a more happy life.
She would have married someone in William's circle, basically.
Yeah.
Those were her options. It was marry William or marry someone in William's circle. Marry one of his Eton buddies.
19th century shit. This is not even 20th century shit.
When we call William and Kate the Victorians, like, they really are. They are such a throwback. And not just in the way they dress. Like, their attitude, the way they socialize, the way they view themselves within their, like, very insular white country community, the
way they ignore the plague because it's not going to affect the rich people.
Yeah, the way they ignored the Spanish flu.
So my favorite story was the one about how she was in a meeting at work at Jigsaw, where she was working for like a minute, and she left to take an hour-long call from William where he dumped her, and this was in 2007. And they obviously got back together after that. But she let him call her at work, and then she blew off work for an hour. When I had office jobs, I'd be like, I'm working, I can't really talk now.
Right.
You know.
But she didn't have that kind of job. It was her only job, really, after she graduated from university. She got that job because Buckingham Palace let it be known, they let it slip to various outlets that the Queen was concerned that Kate didn't do anything. That she was lazy, that she didn't have a real job, that she was just waiting for William to propose. So Kate very quickly found this part-time job at Jigsaw, and she basically only showed up when she was interested in showing up. She took vacations with William whenever she felt like it. And so, of course, she took an hour-long call at work.
Ridiculous. Maybe he wouldn't have dumped her if she had other stuff going on. Yeah, so we heard about that, and it's kind of what we already knew, but it was just much worse than I remembered. But we also heard about Will's temper, and he always seems to be mad at something and raging at something.
He's always incandescent with rage.
Since he was a teen, basically, and that's what the book said, too.
Yeah, and what's funny is that it's sort of been the undercurrent for a few years now, hasn't it?
Yeah.
That whenever we hear a story about how William has reacted to something Harry and Meghan have done, it's always rage. It's always anger. He's always really pissed off. And it's interesting to see Lacey pick up on that and really put any kind of focus on William's so temperamental. He's so full of rage. He's always screaming at people.
Yeah, it's messed up. All right, well, we talked about this at Zoom, and here is Courtney and Karen. And Karen agreed with you, Chandra, what you said last week at the podcast.
I'm really appreciating the vintage gossip element. I wasn't following them that way. Like, I only started following celebrity gossip really in college when I was like, I need this. But like, I feel like you could do such a case study on William and his controllingness and his narcissism and like what causes him to do the things that he does. Like, the more that I hear about it, the more I'm like, yes, all of this is coming down to you wanting to control your brother and manipulate your brother and use your brother as the scapegoat and contrast for you being so great.
No, I just agreed with Chandra's take in the last podcast where they view Harry as like a traitor. So he's turned his back. So I think that's where a lot of the anger comes from. Like, how dare you turn your back on us? So I just think I totally agree with her take on that.
Last week we were talking about how they view him as a traitor to his class.
Yeah.
That he was supposed to pick white supremacy and nobility over his black wife.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the user feedback. So last week in episode 68, I couldn't remember the Republican hair lady. I was like, who's that lady with the hair she had done every couple weeks or whatever? And Darla reminded me. She commented, you're thinking of Callista Gingrich with that Republican hair. And she was right. That's who I was thinking of. I remember that. I remember it running on Gawker. Aw.
Callista Gingrich, doesn't she have like white helmet hair?
Yes, that's what I was thinking of. Because she needed to get it dyed constantly to maintain that kind of terrible hair that she had.
What was the context of that? Were we talking about Karen Pence or something?
We were talking
Republican
about
lady hair?
How much Trump's hair costs, and you said that, it would be worth it if it was somebody with decent hair like Christine Baranski. Yeah. And then I said, blah, 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 makeover. It was such a weird segue.
I get it.
Yeah. And then we talked about Republican hair.
But you know what? Democrats don't have good hair either. Like the Democrat.
Kamala has beautiful hair. Her hair is so nice. I was like, how can I copy her hair?
She's the exception.
She's great hair. Exception. Her makeup is so good too. I was like fangirling over her last night. I'm like, I need to copy her. I'm going to be her. This is going to be my new
what? Kamala has Indian hair. She got that hair from her mama.
I can't get that hair then. I have thin ass Irish hair.
She has full Indian hair. Remember how bad Hillary's hair always was? And Tipper Gore. Oh, terrible hair.
Yeah, Hillary had pretty bad first lady hair, but she was busy with other stuff. So we also got compliments from Charfromdarock. It's like Char from the Rock. And she said, the giggling during the Trump section made my day. And that was last week's podcast because we were laughing so hard when we recorded that update.
You even edited out a bunch of my laughter because I could not keep it together.
It went on for a long time and I was like, well.
I had been laughing all day at that point about Trump having coronavirus.
I know it.
It still cracks me up to think about it.
He's super sick. All right, let's move on to the comments of the week. My comment of the week is on a Katie Holmes and Emilio Vitolo post. And you run those pictures and hardly anyone comments because they're the new alarmists. Like they just walk around looking goo-goo-eyed at each other and doing stupid shit. But it's fun to look at their pictures. And Vanessa wrote, she's just a victim of circus pants. Because I needed to set that up better. But you wrote that Katie was wearing clown pants because they were so ugly. They were like these giant plaid pants.
And the fabric looked so stiff. Like, it just looked like clown pants, like really cheap, like heavy cotton, gross pants. And the fact that everyone was like, oh my God, those pants are so cute. Shut up. No, they aren't. They were horrible.
I don't think everyone was like that. People thought they were ugly. They say that when skinny girls wear stupid shit, like when Bella Hadid wears an outfit from the 90s, sometimes that is really cute, but other times when she or Gigi wear something, you're like, what the hell is that outfit? And everyone thinks they're fashion forward, but
really they're just thin.
Regular people could not pull that off. That's for some skinny girl, young.
That's very true. Like someone like a Bella or a Gigi, like they can pull off some really screwed up stuff and they make it look cute, or they don't look terrible in it because they're beautiful.
Yes.
But I don't put Katie Holmes in that category. Exactly. I think she just likes to wear stupid shit.
Somebody's paying her.
That could be. You've always said that people are paying her to wear terrible clothes.
They send me emails. Like Katie Holmes is wearing this thing when she has like this knit cardigan hanging off her shoulder. They send me the email with the thing, so that means they're paying her.
Yeah, probably. Well, so the comment was she's a victim of circus pants.
Yeah, she's a victim of circus pants. I just thought that was cute.
It was cute. It took me a second to figure it out when I saw it on the thread. I was like, why is everyone laughing at that? I'm an idiot. I don't get wordplay like that. Oh, all right. My comment of the week was, what was it? Oh, it was from one of the Robert Lacey book excerpts, and it was about Kate Middleton throwing herself. She's being a stalker. And that's what Serafina said. That's my comment of the week. She said, I don't understand why people cannot just say it. She stalked him. Let's pretend that this was William and he was pursuing Kate endlessly. That would give off some really alarming red flags, and it should be the same here. And if what Kate did at the fashion show is true, I seriously doubt she is the shy, passive CEO who sues William. She knows exactly what she's doing, securing that position at the British royal family at any and all costs.
Like, how could she have had any other job other than this? It's like what we were talking about before.
Yeah, I mean,
like, this is her
job.
This
was her whole thing. This was her big play. And, like, part of me respects the fact that she decided to shoot her shot, and she figured it out, and she made it work. It took her 10 years, but she figured it out.
Yeah.
And she played it the right way, and who knew? Like, I thought that it would end in disaster. I thought during their courtship that, like, he would end up dumping her and he would never go back, but he went back.
Yeah. And now they have kids, and she's gonna be queen.
She's gonna be the laziest fucking queen.
If we have the monarchy by then. Well, she went and she met with those college students indoors to talk about the coronavirus. Well, none of them were wearing masks.
It was ridiculous.
Let's just take off our masks for this indoor photo op.
It was one thing when people were arguing maybe she didn't need a mask for an outdoor activity with little kids and they were trying to social distance. It's quite another when you say, oh, she doesn't need a mask indoors at a university when she's there to talk about coronavirus.
It just went beyond, but she'll do whatever the crown says, and if they want to not promote mask wearing, that's fine. All right. Well, thanks for listening, bitches. Fuck the police.
Thanks, bitches. Fuck the police.
Thank you for listening to the Celebrity Podcast. Please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen. If you like us, please turn off your ad blocker when you visit our site. You can text us or leave a voicemail at 434-218-3219. Our music is from AA Alto, Maiden, and via Premium Beat and Sound of Picture. Thanks again. Are we going to keep saying fuck the police because it's not flowing?
You don't have to keep saying it. I can just say it every now and then if you want.
Okay, let's do it like that.